Hi, my name is Jake, and I am a bookish drummer. So in my previous two videos, I recently talked about the worst Stephen King covers and then the best Stephen King covers that are older editions. Now, for this video, it's going to be the best newer Stephen King book covers. These are all book covers that I own that I think are really cool, and they're newer editions. All of these books are newer books, except for the first book that I'm going to show you, which is a much older book that came out in the 80s that I have a newer copy of, and I actually really like the newer edition, and I'm sure people will be frightened by it. Wahahaha. Anyway, enough of the preamble. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So like I said, the first book I have to show y'all is an older book. It came out, I believe, in 1986, if I'm remembering correctly. And that would, of course, be It. Very classic book, Stephen King book. And admittedly, the hardcover, even though I don't like hardcovers, the original hardcover book cover is really cool and very iconic. But of course, I don't like hardcovers. And kind of the mass market paperbacks editions that I've had in the past weren't stellar. But this new cover I really like, and I think it's really cool, and that would be It. But look at this cover, like it's all white and red, and the white background mixes in perfectly with Pennywise's face, and then of course you've got the title, and this is kind of like a movie cover, right? Because it's, you know, the Pennywise from the new movie, and then that's the title cover from the new movie. But I think it works really well. I think it really stands out. And even though it's, I do believe, is overrated, not one of my all-time favorite King books, I really do enjoy this cover. Now, I'm sure people are afraid of Pennywise, so they probably won't like it getting closer and closer. So yes, I love this cover. Definitely let me know what you guys think of it, and then I'll try to post the original hardcover edition right here, which is a really cool cover. But like I've said, I don't like hardcovers. I much prefer having a paperback, and this is just a really cool cover. I can see people not enjoying it because, you know, a lot of people are scared of clowns and Pennywise, but you know, I think it's really cool. Like I've said, I like that the all-white background bleeds in perfectly with his face, Pennywise's face. And then, of course, obviously the blood red for everything. Just works really well. One of my all-time favorite newer Stephen King covers. Let me know what you guys think. Hiya, Georgie. The next book I have is a Richard Bachman book, and it's one of my favorite Bachman books, and pretty much in general, just one of my favorite Stephen King books. It's actually a book that he released in 2007, but he actually wrote it way back in the 70s and never released it, so it's basically one of his trunk novels. But I think he should have probably released it because I don't know why he didn't, because it's very, very good. You know, a tangent aside, we're here to talk about the covers here. That would be Blaze. Like I said, one of my favorite Bachman books, just one of my favorite King books in general. I think the cover works really well for the story that it's telling. It's a very dark and cold book, really, and it makes sense for what goes on in the book. I like that we're inside the car, and then we see Blaze on the windshield written, and yeah, I think it works really. I think it's just a cool looking cover for the blues and the whites and the grays. And I think it just works overall for the story in general. And like with all of these, let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments below. And then if I can find any other ones that look like radically different, I'll put them up here. If not, I'll post like the original hardcover, which I think is similar. I can't quite remember. But if there's any other cool editions, I'll put them up here. But for me, I really like this cover and I have no need to go out and get a new copy. So yes, I'm very happy with this edition. One of my favorite Bachman books and one of my favorite of his newer book covers. This next book is one of my all-time favorite Stephen King novels. It's super underrated. It's one of his newer ones. I believe it came out in 2008 or 2007. I can't quite remember, but I always thought it was super underrated, and I love the cover of both the paperback and the hardcover. Either way, you can't go wrong, really. And that would be Douma Key. And I mean, look at that cover. Like, it's, you know, on a beach, and then you've got kind of the storm in the ocean in the background, which of course works really well for this book because it's one of the rare Stephen King books that doesn't take place in like a cold and wintry environment, like in Maine or Colorado. This takes place in Florida, which is very different from what King normally writes in. And the cover reflects that. And not only that, it's just a terrific and, like I said, super underrated book. I wish more people would go out and read this. I actually really want to reread this soon because I've only read it once, I believe. And it was a long, long time ago. And I really want to jump back into this book. It's terrific. And this is kind of turning into more of a book gush rather than a book cover talk. But like I said, the book cover is awesome. I hope you guys agree with me. And I'll post the original hardcover edition, which is also great. And from what I remember, it's very similar. It's got like a house on a beach, and it's also showing the water, I believe. But yes, you can't really go wrong with any edition of this book. But like I said, I love paperbacks, and this is just a very cool cover. So one of my favorite King books, one of my favorite covers. Let me know what you guys think. I'm very curious. Next book I have to talk about is one of his newer short story collections called Just After Sunset. One of his best collections, very good, very consistently good, and it's got a very cool and interesting cover that I really enjoy. So Just After Sunset, and of course it has a sunset on it. I don't know if you can quite tell with my camera quality here, but like you can kind of tell that the title is kind of fading away as you get closer to the sunset, and I really like that. I think it's really cool, and I just like how orange it is, because you don't get a lot of Stephen King books that are orange. Most of the time you're getting like a darker cover, like it's black or gray or maybe some sort of dark blue, but this is like bright orange, and it's very different from a lot of King books. I'm sure y'all will agree with me in that this is a very beautiful cover. If I remember correctly, it's very similar to the hardcover edition. I'm pretty sure. And if there's any other cool editions, I'll put them up here. But for me, I'm very happy with owning the paperback edition of Just After Sunset. Not only is it a great book, very underrated King short story collection, but very cool and interesting cover, especially for Stephen King. A lot of the times he has darker covers, but this is very bright, which makes sense because, you know, it's got sunset in the title. So let me know what you guys think. And for this next book, I definitely wanted to include a Dark Tower novel because I actually have all of the newer paperbacks that were in like the box set that I ordered, and they pretty much all have great covers. But this one, even though it's one of my least favorite Dark Tower novels, it's still great, but it's not like an all-time favorite of mine. It just has a really stunning cover, and I really enjoy it. And that would be The Wind Through the Keyhole, which has a very cool tiger on the cover. And of course, with all of these editions, they have the Dark Tower kind of looming in the background there. I really like it. I really like how everything blends in together. And then you've got, the boy here, and then you've got the tiger, which is a very big part of the story that's in here. It just works really well for me. And I could have went with, maybe like Drawing of the Three, which has a more iconic cover, or even something like The Wasteland, which has, the train on the cover, which of course is very iconic for Dark Tower fans. But this one, it just really sticks out to me. I really like the tiger. I think it's really cool looking. So yeah, that's probably my favorite out of all of the Dark Tower covers that I own. I'm very interested to see if you guys agree with me. And if you don't agree with me, let me know down in the comments what your favorite Dark Tower book cover is, because there's a lot to choose from, not only from, the many books, but there's also many, many editions of the books. So you could go with another paperback copy. You could go with a hardcover, like original hardcover. But for me, out of the copies that I own, I really enjoy this cover. So yes, went through the keyhole. Pretty good Dark Tower book, but just a stunning cover. Speaking of underrated King stories and King novels, the next book cover I have to show you is from a book that's very underrated. Not a lot of King fans have read it. It's a newer book, but it kind of reverts back to old King in a way where a lot of his newer books aren't necessarily strictly horror, but the ending to this book is extremely dark and extremely nihilistic. And I do think a lot of King fans who enjoy some of his older and darker works would really enjoy this one. And that would be Revival. Now, I really like this cover, and I love when covers kind of hint at what's in the story, but of course you have to read and find out what, why this cover makes sense. You got the church, and then you've got the lightning bolts coming out, and I love how the cover is basically like all blue, black, and gray, and then you've got King and the title and kind of more of a orange and yellow and gold. I think it works really well, so I think it's a really stunning cover, and of course one of his most underrated books. I believe I put it fairly high up on my ranking list. And I do remember the hardcover being similar, but I don't think I like it quite as much as my copy. And of course, I don't like hardcovers to begin with, but I just think this one looks a little better than the hardcover edition. And of course, I love paperback, so double win for me. Please let me know what you guys think of the cover for this book and whether you like the hardcover version or this better. And just let me know if you've read this book and if you enjoy it, because not a lot of King fans have read it, and I wish more King fans would. So yes, great book, underrated, fantastic book cover. This next book is one of his newer, or it is his newest short story collection. He needs to put out more short story collections, because this book came out in 2015, and at the time I was very excited to read it, but ultimately I was kind of disappointed with a lot of them. They weren't my favorite. It's one of my least favorite of his short story collections, but, big but, it has a terrific cover for both the hardcover and the paperback. And that would be The Bazaar of Bad Dreams. The font is pretty cool and wonky, but then you've also got, a typical black background for King. And then you've got a really weird but also beautiful, imaginative cover where you've got a head, but inside you've got very cool and beautiful artwork. You've got butterflies, and then you've got kind of like a Grim Reaper in the background, and it's all kind of blue and misty. And I just think the cover works really well. Even though it's not one of my favorite King books in short story collections, I definitely won't have to go out and buy another copy because this is a beautiful cover. I really enjoy it, even though, like I've said, it's not one of my favorite collections. I enjoy looking at it. And like I said, I'm pretty sure it's similar to the hardcover edition. I'm pretty sure, so I won't have to post that. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of this cover and if you agree with me or not. This next book is a newer King book. I believe it came out in 2017 and very divisive. I would probably say most people hate this book or they just don't like it. For me, I really enjoyed the first half, but then the second half really fell flat for me. So the whole book is kind of a mixed bag. But I probably would say that it's not a terrible book. A lot of people would say it's a terrible book, but I disagree. But, big but, I think the cover is really beautiful. And that would be Sleeping Beauties by Stephen King and Owen King, his son. But yes, even though it's not a terrific book and it's definitely nowhere near my favorite, the cover is really beautiful. Yeah, it's, and for the story, it makes sense because it's about basically women falling asleep and like, they're like get cocoons like growing on their face. And if anyone wakes them up, they basically turn into like killing machines. So the premise is very cool. And the cover really illustrates that premise with like the woman's face and the red lipstick and the butterflies growing out, and so it's a really cool cover, even though it's not a fantastic Stephen King book. We're not judging it based off of the content. We're solely basing it off of looks, which is the most important aspect of anybody, right? You gotta base your relationships. Oh my god. It doesn't matter if they're a good person, as long as they're hot. But anyway, I'm interested to see if you guys agree with me or not, and you think this is a cool cover. I think it's a cool cover. But I'm pretty sure not a lot of people would agree that it's not a terrible book. A lot of people say it's a terrible book, but it's decent. It's good. It's not great, but it's not bad either. But anyway, it's a great cover nonetheless. So again, this next book is a newer book. I believe it came out in 2018 or 2019, roughly. I can't remember. But anyway, it's a great book, one of my all-time favorite King books, and it also has a pretty cool cover. And that would be, if I could get it here, The Outsider. I wish it didn't have the HBO logo on here, but either way, it's a pretty cool cover. You've got, very ominous, like gray and black. And you've got the trees, and then obviously you've got the upside down dude here looking into like a lake or a river or something. So I think it's really creepy looking, and it works really well. I just wish this damn HBO sticker wasn't on there. Boom. There we go. Now it's perfect. But yes, I think it's a pretty cool cover. Very creepy looking. I'm interested to see if you guys agree with me. I think it's similar to the hardcover edition. Maybe. I honestly don't remember, but it's right here, and editing Jake will figure it out, maybe. But yes, it's definitely one of the better, newer book covers from Stephen King. I really enjoy it, and I'm interested to see if you guys think the same as well. And then, of course, we have Stephen King's newest book that is out right now, which I really enjoyed, which would be Billy Summers. And this has a really cool cover, and I think a lot of people would agree with me. So, Billy Summers, I really think it's beautiful. I like how there's kind of like, the background, but then you've also got the car running through pages. of a story. And admittedly, when I first saw this, I was confused. I was like, why is a car driving on pages? But once you figure out kind of what the story is more about, once you get further in, it does make sense, especially for Stephen King fans. And yes, I think it's a really cool cover. It also extends to the back, which I think is really cool. And this is, I think, one of the only King hardcovers that I own, just because I don't think the paperback is out yet. This came out just last year in August, so I'm pretty sure the paperback isn't out yet. But when that does come out, hopefully they stick with this same concept, because I do really like this cover. If they do change it, it better be for a damn good reason, because this is a really cool cover. And of course, since this is the original hardcover and pretty sure the paperback isn't out yet, I don't have anything else to show y'all for it. I'm just very interested to see if y'all agree with me in that this is a good cover. Like I said, I think it's a great cover. And what do y'all think? And then just as an added bonus, I'll throw in King's new book that is coming out later this year in September, Fairy Tale, which I do believe a lot of people would agree with me in that this is a great cover. Now, whether or not it's a great book or not, that we'll have to wait and find out in September. But for now, we can at least enjoy the beautiful cover. It's really good looking, and yes, I really enjoy it. Bonus content. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the final video in this kind of mini-series that I'm doing based off of Stephen King book covers, and I'll probably just, make a playlist. The first episode was for the worst King covers. The second episode was the best older King covers, and then the third video, this video that you just watched, I don't know why I'm explaining it, but the third video is his newer editions, the best newer Stephen King covers. So yeah, I filmed this all in one day, so I am friggin' tired of talking about Stephen King book covers now. But when these come out, please let me know if you're interested in any other form of a Stephen King book cover talk. I think one thing that I would like to do is maybe talk about some of his foreign editions, and maybe I'd do a little bit more research on those, because I'm sure, well, obviously they're different, but I'm sure a lot of those would be really cool as well. And I know that the UK gets different book cover versions. Sometimes they're better, sometimes they're worse, so that would be cool. But also just like random countries, like what do Stephen King books look like in like China or Egypt or South Africa? I don't know. I think that would be pretty cool to look into. Let me know if you guys are interested in that. And then also for this video, let me know what you guys agree with me on and what you guys disagree with me on. I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and the Bookish Drummer Discord. And if you'd like to further support me, go check out my Patreon page and see what that's all about. Thank you so much for watching, and have a terrific day. Now I have a big mess to clean up. My least favorite part.